So the Arctic Challenge is a 5-day survival skills challenge. We're 150 kilometres north of the Arctic Circle. No running water, no electricity, and living in pretty extreme temperatures.
I suppose physically it's going to be very demanding, mentally it's going to be very demanding.
It's going to be cold out here, it's going to be physically tough, it's going to be tiring. This is all about teamwork, and if they work together as a team and keep the spirits up, they can absolutely do it.
Night one is really just getting to know the surroundings, orientating themselves, finding their bed, finding their kit, knowing where everything goes, that kind of thing. And yeah, just getting their bearings.
Send the rest of them out.
It's very cold. The cold is a bit of a shock now, I have to say. But everyone is getting acclimatised. People have no concept as to what -20 feels like. So the panic about layering, all that kind of thing is a big deal for them.
Is there any tasks that involve coordination and stuff like this?
We're not on the riverbank anymore, we're actually on the river. Okay? So don't go in any way other than this beaten track that we have here. Okay? You might see the other stick sticking out of the water.
Yeah.
And beside it there's a lid, and you lift off the lid. The river will have frozen over under the lid and the ice needs to be rebroken. And that's what that thing is for, it's just to hammer out the ice.
Okay, these are our humble little toilets. There are 4 in operation. There's 2 there and there are 2 behind me. If you want to open and have a look. Wow, there's a lid on the toilet.
There's just been a toilet workshop, which has been interesting. No, they're doing well. They're all collecting wood now and hopefully getting into dinner shortly.
And you sprinkle the sawdust over it, just enough to cover it.
That bathroom lesson was a bit of a...
There's obviously the logistics of leaving home and all that kind of thing, but you get into it fairly quickly, and I think that everyone will just embrace it and forget about home and get stuck into the routine out here.
A day over here, no matter how hard it is, it's going to be nothing compared to a day in the life of the guys that have EB and their families. So I suppose that's my real motivation.
And then the overnight thing is going to be, depending how cold it is, it's going to be a new challenge as well, but it'll be interesting.
Day one is an absolute throw you into the deep end kind of day. People are trying to figure out this new environment, get themselves on skis for the first time, get themselves on snowshoes for the first time. It's a big learning curve.
So today we've split into 2 groups. One group we're taking out snowshoeing, and snowshoeing it's hard work, especially all this powder. You have a metre of powder, it's like walking through sugar, and it's hard going.
Night one. It was better than I expected because I didn't think I'd sleep at all, but I did. This morning, bit nervous going out, because it was our first morning out, but it was really good. We did the snowshoeing and it was really enjoyable. The landscape is absolutely fantastic.
And then we're on the skis with the other group, and they're learning the basics on the skis, and that's hard work, especially on these thin cross-country skis.
You're doing well, good. More. That's it.
One more run.
Good. Yeah, it's good. Like in the space of less than 2 hours. Doing pretty good. So we've got a few here like we're really in the groove. A few more like just about getting it.
It doesn't quite feel natural yet. It takes a bit of getting used to.
Between now and Saturday, heading out, there is a relatively steep learning curve, so it's still doable.
On top of all that, they need to learn all of the day-to-day tasks that keeps a place like this going. Getting water out of the local river.
That's actually pretty hard.
Collecting firewood, sorting out the very basic toilet facilities, all of that stuff, getting their food organised. It's a big day of learning.
There's no kicking back in the evening, so when you come back after your hike you have your tasks to do. So there's no heat, no electricity here, there's no running water, there are no toilets, so in the mornings you have to get up, set the fires, draw water, clean out the toilets, clean out sort of the general area and clean the snow off. It's just like living a little bit back in time, but it's also really cold. So that's the change, I think that's the difficult bit. Today we have our big long day trip. They're busy making packed lunches, packing all their warm layers and emergency clothing for the day. Morning. It's snowing pretty heavily here, as it has been all night and continuing through to today. So that will make conditions a little bit more challenging. Lots of snow this morning, but everyone's ready to go for the full day skiing. So today definitely now will give us a good sense of how they'll manage on the overnight, because it's a full day. So we're going to see how their stamina levels are.
By the end, like, legs were tired and felt quite tired, and then to imagine pulling all the gear on top of that now for the overnight will definitely be a step up again. So,
and their endurance to be able to just keep going and dig deep when the fingers and toes are freezing cold, can they just continue on with it?
I look like I know what I'm doing.
The big thing for me is still hasn't happened yet, and that's our camping out. You know, it's the couple of hours to get there, and you're sleeping out. And like the other night, our first night here, it got down to minus 20 degrees, and we were indoors.
Sleeping out outside scares me. Absolutely terrifies me. Because I know I'll just be lying awake looking at the ceiling, being like, oh, what am I doing here? Dreading that, absolutely dreading it.
I'm thinking it's going to be difficult tomorrow. I think it's going to be hard for a lot of us. It's going to be a long journey, and after that long journey we have to set up camp, and I think that's going to be really tricky.
As I always say, if it's one bad night, it's nothing compared to what the EB patients go through. So if I can do that for them, you know, and help them, it's one night out of my life.
That was stuck.
Sorry.
I can't. Okay, I can. I can. Will I turn? This morning we did a full bandage change. That happens every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And most people might find it hard to believe, and as much as that hurts, that's really good for your average EB hand. And every time you go to take off a bandage, you don't really know what's underneath it. It can be different every time. So. And then my elbow, there's a blister on it. If you can, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, there is. There it is. There.
Oh yeah.
So this is terrible. But you will have to get these off, oh my god, because you don't know what's going on underneath. So usually with something like that, as you can see now, there's a wound exposed from underneath. You have to be aware of what's going on, which isn't fun. The purple water is called potassium permanganate. It's basically a medical version of Milton. Ready? I can't.
It's okay, you're done now.
No, it's not okay.
It's okay.
I can't.
It's okay, you're done now.
I hear you guys are going on an overnighter soon. It is time to dig. It is time to find that strength inside of you, because I find the strength every single day just to live my life.
It's been a really hectic morning getting prepared. We had a lovely message from Emma in the middle of it, so that has really spurred us on and really motivated us in terms of getting together, working as a team, making sure we're ready for the off and preparing for every eventuality.
3, 4, 5. So we've 5 stoves all together.
Yeah, I'm nervous. But yeah, we got this. We can do it.
So at the moment, as you can see, they're packing up their pulks. We hope to be shipping out of here in 15 minutes, and I think we'll be on target.
It's important for us to keep in mind why we're here. So seeing the video of Emma this morning kind of gave us our pep and our step to get out and do it and get over the nerves and remember how lucky we have it that we're here and we're able to do this challenge.
They're completely self-sufficient. They've got their food, they've got their water, they've got stoves to melt snow to get extra water.
Good luck. I am so proud of you all to do something so grueling and difficult. I mean, going from living in a cozy home and having your food around you to breaking ice to get your own water, to cutting your own firewood, to walking out in the middle of the night to the bathroom. I mean, fair play, congratulations, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's a great experience, because I want it to be. I want you to enjoy it.
I mean, for us, this is here for a couple of days. They deal with this every day of their lives, the challenges that they must go through. So yeah, having that in our mind is what it's all about. Like, you know, we don't do this every day. They live this every day, these challenges.
The trek was very arduous now, in fairness, and then when we took that 1 kilometre of just constant climbs and constant, you start to realise all the training that you put in was literally for this day. Good teamwork there. So it was real kind of, you know, all the shoulders to the wheel, and everybody worked brilliantly together.
I was struggling. I was tired, my feet were sore because the boots didn't quite fit, I had blisters, my hands and fingers were numb and cold and tingling, and I would have been perfectly happy to just pack up and go home. At the same time, there wasn't really a choice but to keep going.
Oh, it's okay.
Ready to go again, Maura?
Yeah. We're about 3/4 of the way up. You get little plateaus, but then it hits you again. So just when you think you're there, you see another one.
It was extremely hard. I thought that I'm fit enough. It was absolutely shock, to be honest. It was total shock. Like I was, and I'm quite fit, and I'm doing all the hikings, all the camping, all that kind of stuff. But today, it was too much for me, I'd say.
I didn't think it would be so tough. I was absolutely physically exhausted when we got there and freezing.
It was very cold actually coming here through the lake. The feet are actually very cold, so you need always moving. So you can't even stop for a couple minutes. You just can't. You just need to move all the time.
Because it is exhausting physically and mentally, and for first time of pulling a heavy pulk full of gear and food and water and tents for the night, it's a lot to ask them. There's no let up at the moment because there's so much fresh powder snow. They have to stomp it down, create platforms for their tents, get the fire lighting, get stoves on, start gathering snow to melt for water because they need to rehydrate after a day like today. Need to cook their food. Before it gets dark, they'll want to get the tents up and get their sleeping bags, liners, mats, all that in. And then when they kind of finish that level of work, then they have the work at keeping themselves warm for the night.
I knew that it's going to be a challenge, but I didn't know that it's going to be such a challenge. Yeah, it was nice and fun, you know, a couple of days ago. Now it's not fun at all. No.
I'm tentatively looking forward to tonight. I think it's going to be very cold, and so I hope all of our sleeping bag and gear will hold up.
I don't know what to expect, but I'm not even thinking to have even a bit of sleep, to be honest. I'm afraid.
It's a little bit warmer in here.
Yeah, it's going to be nice and snuggy.
Yeah.
Just been blown
We're
up.
just putting up the wallpaper and stuff.
I've got about 6 layers on now. 3 pairs of socks, balaclava, hat, and I'm going to sleep in my rain gear as well.
I think maybe other people are feeling different way, but for me it's quite tough.
I'm just getting our water bottles, and I'm going to put them into our sleeping bags to try and warm them up because it's really, really cold.
I don't know how, is everybody the same as me? Yeah? Okay.
didn't sleep great, but it was cold. But I was in the middle of the two girls, so got snuggy parts of the night.
My night's sleep? What sleep? There's no sleep. I'm very tired.
So basically your breath in the middle of the night freezes and then you're left with like snowing your own breath back on yourself in the morning, just to add insult to injury.
Yeah, just waiting on the kettle to boil to make a cuppa and then all will be good with the world.
Tough, but different, new experience. But would I do it again? Don't think so.
Like our hands are so cold and the poles, you're kind of sticking to the poles, which is manky.
It's going to be really tough home again, but I think because it's the homeward journey, we'll be going as fast as we can. And I'm just conscious we came down a lot of big hills yesterday, so we're going to be going back up those big hills now when we go back.
The last 2 days of the challenge were physically tough. We were all freezing cold. My ski boots froze overnight and I had to put my feet in plastic bags and then I had to force them into rock hard frozen boots. That was tough.
The cold, challenging. Campsite, very challenging.
So these women have come from all sorts of walks of life. The thing they have in common is that they were really moved by the stories of people living with EB. But through their fundraising efforts, Deborah Ireland will be in a position to raise money for research and support services that we provide on a day-to-day basis.
It's really emotional. Amazing experience. Really tough. Pulls at you, like tough, where you didn't think it was going to be.
Exhausted and exhilarated all at the same time. Very long, 26 hours.
Well done. Oh.
2020 is going to be the first year that we bring a group of men to the Arctic. We've seen the kind of resilience that these ladies have portrayed in the last week, so we look forward to seeing if the men can live up to what's gone before them.